What's going on, everyone? Yes, today is another retro tour review. And yes, the man that's standing in front of you is Zetman from the epic manga / anime Zetman. Now, Zetman here is made by Arts Kai, and this is one of the first out of the anime lines, if I'm not wrong. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this was one of the very first ones. Now, Zetman was actually made also on Revoltech, which was a lot smaller scale. I had that one as well and didn't quite like it as much, but I kept it in my possession until I found out about this version. Then when I bought this version when it first dropped, I sold the Revoltech version. Certain things about the Revoltech version that I will explain that this one does not have, and what your perks between the two or your negative aspects between the two. So let's go ahead and start looking at detail. So further as detail, once again, Arts Kai did a really great job. And I was extremely happy when I got my hands on this particular character. Now, if you've never seen the anime, I would definitely say give it a try. It's like a merge between Devilman. If anybody know what Devilman is, Devilman is definitely a classic, an old anime. Actually, a lot of people don't know about Devilman unless you're around my age, or you just happen to like old school shit and you decide to go searching through the old school catalogs of animes. And a merge of Guyver. So the story kind of resembles a little bit of Guyver going on and a little bit of Devilman. But the reason why Devilman, in my personal opinion, plays an influence on this particular character, even though he's not mentioned, the look of this character has a very Devilman feel to it. And even when Zet actually transformed from his human self over to this monster version, the hair, the way it rises up and changes into the horns, it actually does kind of like what Devilman used to do back in this old school anime form. So that's a side view. And what I do like about this character, even though it's very simplistic, the nice hints of gray or like a kind of like a washed out black throughout the muscles actually give a very, very nice contrast between it. The way it just bounces off that red there. And another great thing about anime toys, which I will be showing you, the articulation on anime figures, because they're a lot smaller frame, they actually have a really, really nice range of motion, which I will be displaying that going on in this review. So there's your full 360 of how the character looks in detail. As for accessories, Zetman does not come with much. He comes very limited, actually. He's going to come with a tail, which I will zoom out real quick so you can see. He comes with this jet black tail. And let me lighten it up so y'all can see. Sorry about that. Comes with this jet black tail here. And this tail, which is nice though, it is posable. So you can actually bend it and it'll hold form. So this is really cool. As for the Revoltech version, it did come with this tail. And it actually works the exact same way, which I'm going to go ahead and show you. So I'll be putting the accessories on while explaining. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom back here 1 second. Go ahead and focus. There we go. It's really well hidden. It's a piece of plastic. And you just pretty much tab it up and they'll come out for you. And then reveal this hole to you. And you just go ahead and apply the tail the exact same way. When you get it in there, it works nice and snug. Doesn't fall off. Really, really well done. So that's the first accessory that you're going to get. And that's how it's actually applied to the character. Well, when he transforms, he not only gains that tail, and this is actually a higher transformation. I think it's like the third transformation of this character actually throughout the story. And he gets a different head sculpt. So I'm gonna pull that off. And the Revoltech version actually got this as well. I'm gonna go ahead and snap that on. Nice and snug, really easy to change out. Don't gotta worry about damage or nothing. And I'm gonna go ahead and zoom up real quick for detail. And it's kind of like a visor. Sorry about that. For all the shaking going on. So it's a slight visor. So it's nothing really, really big. I prefer the actual standard Zetman head over the special face, but you do get both, so which is cool. And the last accessory that he's missing from this transformation, unfortunately, he does not get. I don't know if they actually had like a bad situation between the two companies, or they just didn't have the budget. I don't know. This figure is an older figure, so a lot of the Play Arts Kai figures wasn't costing nowhere near what they're costing now. So I don't know if they was kind of scared to push the budget on how much this figure would have cost them, because one, I start noticing with a lot of the animated figures out of the Play Arts Kai line, they actually was a lot more expensive than the standard figures that was coming along. And even in an interview I seen on YouTube that someone linked me to, because I was wondering like, why is there no more Zetman figures coming out? And they were saying pretty much the money didn't go the way it should have went, or wasn't going as expected, so they kind of cut it. So once this figure came out, nothing else came behind it, which was kind of sad, because I would have liked to see more from this toy line. But it is what it is. Well, the reason why I'm showing you the back, you see the two slabs right where the shoulder blades is at, and it kind of has this real deep cut, almost like it can come out of the plastic. And I think at one point it probably could have, and then they probably changed their mind and just glued it directly into the sockets and covered up the spot, never to be revealed. Well, the transformation actually allows Zetman to gain wings, and when he gained those wings, I'm gonna go ahead and try to give you an estimate. So this is where my hand at. His wings would technically come off camera. That's how big the wings actually get. Anybody that know the Revoltech version, they know exactly what I'm talking about. So you got these huge, huge wings that would have went with this figure along with the transformation. So that was a kind of a huge loss to some people. I prefer the actual non-wings due to the fact that I just like to be able to pose my figure more versus something hindering it or being in the way. So that is the accessories, further as dealing with the transformation. The other accessories you would get, which is pretty much just a right and left hand. I'll go ahead and bring this in real quick. And it is his ring. Little special ring going on, which is like a translucent yellow. So it's a nice ball fist, nicely sculpted. You get that, and you're gonna get a right one. So you're getting right and left fisticuff. That's it. So that is all the accessories dealing with Zetman. One thing I didn't mean to skip first, but I did skip it by mistake. It is what it is. I'll show you a quick height comparison real quick before I get into articulation. This is the height comparison. A lot of the actual animated characters were a lot shorter than the other character toy lines. So you can see right there, even the frame, the body frame is a lot smaller. So that is Vicious from Cowboy Bebop. You can see how small his body frame is. And then you're looking at the Play Arts Kai New Cloud, and you see how large he is, not even due to height, but just even the mass of the body is a lot larger. And that's not because this is a newer figure. Even if you look at the older figures, they were really, really bulk over the actual animated line until they got to about Appleseed. When they got to the Appleseed toys, then they kind of strayed away from the very small frame figures and start getting actually larger. So that is the height comparison. Now let's get into articulation. So move this out the way. I'll go ahead and zoom back up real quick. And let's go ahead and focus. All right. So, as for articulation dealing with good old Zetman, Zetman can only look about that far up, which is not bad. Still kind of straightforward for the most part, but he can look a little bit up, and he can look about that far down without moving the neck. Okay. Now it is on the double ball joint going into the head, ball joint going into the neck. Going down to the neck joint, he gets about that far down, which is cool. It's not a lot, but it's okay. Looking up, using the neck, you get about that far back. So not too much of a change. Dealing with a tilt, he doesn't really have a tilt due to the fact that the neck is kind of swole. Let me go ahead and focus. Well, take that back. It's not that bad, but you know, you've seen toys with more. Even when it came down to the neck, the neck joint normally moves. This is just the head is actually most of the movement. So that's what you got going on there. Now moving to the shoulders, he's actually designed like the new Ground Zero Snake figure, the first one that was released, and also designed like the first Peace Walker sneaking suit Snake, which I really love this. They actually made it where this is like a softer plastic. It seems to be hard, but it is a little bit softer than usual, and it allows you to be able to move the arms a little bit forward. So you can get about that far forward because he doesn't have door hinge style shoulder joints, which I'm actually happy with because, like I said before, and I always would say I don't really care for him much, but he can actually still maneuver his arms. So it actually sits a peg going like this down into the chest cavity, and it just rotates on that, and which is attached to the hinge. So the hinge goes about this far up, which is really nice. Nice little range there. You can do a full 360 if you like with this character on the arms. Now going down to his biceps, I'm gonna go ahead and scroll down. There we go. He actually got about that much of a bend. So when it came down to the elbow joint, it was actually pretty bad. It wasn't all that great. It was just standard, damn near like a regular figure that you would pay $20 for. It's pretty much just an L. It's not going too much further than what it is. In the Revoltech version, Revoltech is definitely known for their posability. So this arm was actually double jointed, and it was able to go completely shut, which you don't get that with Play Arts Kai figures, but you do get a little bit higher than this. At least it seems to be to me, but this was really low. But going down to the wrist, and by the way, you can rotate at the base or above the elbow joint and below the elbow joint, so you can do either or. Now getting to the wrist had a huge amount of range. It went that far to the side, that far to the other side. So you had nothing but just straight up space opportunity to kind of make that wrist work the way you want it to work. It is a ratchet joint, and it can rotate at the base of the wrist, so above it and below it. You can do either or, okay? And these are the default hands that it does come with right out the box. So it doesn't come with the ball fist first. It actually comes with this like vicious kind of like open palm scope, which is really nicely done. It's kind of elongated though on the hands. Not like it's bad sculpting or anything, but it's very long. So most of the time people switch over to the fist unless you're just trying to do a particular pose. I was actually shocked that he didn't get kind of like the karate chop style hands, solely because he kind of used that expression with his hand a lot in the anime, which is kind of odd that they didn't give him that. They gave him kind of like these weird paw hands, whatever. But it is what it is. Now going down to the midsection, you got about that far forward, which is not bad for ab crunch. You got about that far back, which is practically nothing really. It does stay nice and flush, so that part goes pretty high up past the actual midsection to keep it nice and clean. You don't see no gaps or anything going on. Now going to the tilt, you don't really have a tilt. You can tilt a little bit. Oh, nope, I'm wrong. Haven't messed with this figure in so long. But you get about that much tilt, so I'm completely wrong. You can get a really great range of motion. You just kind of got to maneuver at first. I noticed, like once I got to lifting it a bit and turning it, then I was able to get a better bend on it. Now using his waist joint involved in it, he got about that much bend forward, so it's really not much. Going back was a little bit, not that much. Doing a tilt to the side was about that much. Same way going this way, about that much, okay? So he didn't get crazy waist articulation. But when it come down to the legs, now this is what I was really impressed about. So I'm gonna come back. Going down to the crotch, you actually have ratchet joints like the new Arts Kai figures, but you got full split. Shit, you damn near went past the line. And this is what I mean by smaller frame characters. They actually have a better range of motion. So you got that going on. Going back, you couldn't really go back due to the actual butt cheek sculpt. But going up, on the other hand, really nice range of motion. Higher than any Arts Kai figure I've dealt with. Really nice. Okay. Now, you can swivel right below the actual ratchet joint, which is nice. Okay. Now, I will say the only downside of this, it's not, I ain't gonna say it's downside. It might be downside to some people because I know some people really can't stand seeing joints. This case, it don't bother me, to be real with you. He does have his joints exposed quite a bit. That's not like something was wrong with my figure or anything of that nature. It's just the body is so tight framed onto the actual pelvis area. It's like no room. It's just straight up. You getting everything really closed in and tight around the frame itself. So that's how you're able to get them nice poses, or not nice poses, but nice range of motion due to the fact of how everything is snug and giving you a little bit more space of freedom to move these limbs around. Where most figures have the larger piece that's covering over this entire area, so it's a little bit harder for them to maneuver. So by this being exposed, you get a lot more. So you may be able to see it, but you're going to get a better chance of range of motion dealing with nice dynamic poses. So you get that going on. Now coming out to the knee, I've yet to see a toy beat him in a knee joint all the way. It touches the damn thigh. No Arts Kai figure I've seen yet personally can do this. Like, I can bring the new Cloud into play, and Cloud touches, but he still have a gap. There is no gap. Like, it literally just straight touch. So, I've yet to see a Arts Kai figure that can be in like this one. Going down to the ankle, huge range of motion. Go about that far down, this far up. As for the ankle pivot, huge. You can really rotate, really nice. And then you get a toe joint. Okay, so how do I feel about the Zetman figure? If you never picked the Zetman figure up and you was wondering, I'm gonna be honest with you, I would definitely put him in the collection. I was happy that I got him, and I'm gonna always be happy that I've had this figure, just because after messing around with it, you really get some nice dynamic poses with this toy. Plus it's just a nice looking toy. In my personal opinion, I think they did a really great job on nailing the anime style character. So I'm gonna show you real quick. I'm gonna do it just to show you how deep the poses can get. Go ahead and maneuver them around a bit. I did one pose a long time ago, but I can't remember it all the way, but you can at least get the idea. So I know he would balance better if this damn tail wasn't in the way, but I got it on, so screw it. But I'll go ahead and bring down the camera so you can see for yourself. It's crazy. Once again, no Arts Kai figure can do that. I've yet to see one. You can tell me different. Leave me a comment below if you've seen better. But that is my review of Zetman. So, once again, definitely let me know what you think about this review. Hope you liked the retro review. I brought it back. I did do a review of this character before, but I had a crappier camera. So by me having a high definition camera, this does do a lot more justice to these toys. So let me know what you think. continue to collecting shits. Hope y'all enjoyed the review. Hope the information helped out to either make you A, decide to get the figure, or not get the figure. And if you're wondering how the actual anime look, because you've never seen it, this is the anime. If you get the Blu-ray, you're gonna get both discs. So it's just a 2-disc series and it's complete. So, and it was actually fairly cheap, actually. The book, I believe, is still going. Last time I read it, I went past what the movie showed. So I'm pretty sure they're still writing it. I could be wrong. If you know different, let me know, because I definitely would like to know my damn self, because it came to a halt on the manga and I just haven't seen nothing new about it. So that is my review. Y'all have a great one. Take care.